Master your sexuality. There is no more important skill that you're going to learn than mastering your sexuality, because it has far-reaching impacts way beyond what you think that it does. See, the problem is that people have been taught this idea that it's just separate, it has nothing to do with anything else. It absolutely does. The reason that you are a loser is because you are watching porn and fucking jerking off. Here's why. You say you can't go to the gym, but you spend an hour on Pornhub and then 2 hours on watching Game of Thrones and then fucking off. What you lack is motivation. Do you really think that you wouldn't be in that gym and doing these different things that you need to do to better yourself if the only way that you were able to get sexual gratification was actually having the ability to have sex with a woman? Even if it requires making money to do it, guess what? That's something you'd have to actually go and do, isn't it? If it requires looking better, if it requires how you act, all these other things, you will be far more motivated to do it if you take away your ability to gratify yourself without having to have actually put in the work. So what's happening is you are training your brain. When you actually have sex, as a man, your brain is saying, this was a pleasurable experience. Whatever I had to do to get this, I'm going to reproduce. And that's how you train yourself to get better and better and better, because whatever led up to that position is reinforced through orgasm. But the exact opposite is happening when you're jerking off. When you're jerking off, you put no work in, no effort in, and you didn't learn anything. But not only did you not learn anything, but you actually have made yourself weak. There was a study that was done on heavy porn users, and they measured their brains against a control group, and they showed them images of women. These are clothed, just regular images. And what they found was that in the heavy porn users, dopamine lit up far more in the nucleus accumbens, which is the addiction center part of the brain. So what does that mean? Well, like any addict, you'll lie, cheat, steal, do whatever you got to do to get your addiction, but it makes you incredibly weak. So the idea essentially is that you're in front of this woman and you're an addict. You have no choice. Your brain's lighting up with dopamine from all that porn. You have to have it. That gives her a tremendous power over you. Now, what the argument a lot of men will have is they'll say, well, that wouldn't work on me. I'll just go home and jerk off. Really? So let's say that you are an alcoholic and you walk into a bar and someone offers you a drink of whiskey right there. Are you really going to say, nah, I don't need it, I got plenty at the house 30 minutes from here? No, you're going to take it right then and there. You'll do anything. You will subjugate yourself. You will simp. You will be a little fucking pussy because you got to get your drug. And it doesn't, even if somehow you were able to, because remember, you didn't learn confidence. So you probably won't actually be able to get the girl. You just are needy. You're just desperate, right? You didn't actually learn the skills to get her. So you're in this position where you're all needy, but you don't know how to talk to her. And so you won't actually get what you want. And then you'll go home and jerk off. And she'll think of you as this weak, pathetic loser. It also does something else. You view people as objects. You start viewing others as objects, and as a result, and your brain rewires for its own pleasure. So, in the video I did in Wear Their Shoes, and I talked about how my younger brother literally could not understand why his girlfriend didn't care about a gift for her car. And it was so absolutely, completely makes perfect sense. Well, the reason a guy is in that position is because when you're jerking off to porn, you are literally, your brain has focused only on itself. Self-gratification, my pleasure. That's all that matters. And as a result, you cannot see other people. Your brain, as I talked about before, is filtering everything out except for your current circumstance. And your current circumstance is, it's all about me, my pleasure, my needs. Other people don't matter. And as a result, you don't notice anything. You don't notice anything around you at work. You don't notice the opposite sex. You don't notice any changes. You are an absolute, complete fucking moron and don't notice shit. You can't. You're only focused on yourself. So it makes you absolutely ineffectual with women. It also, you've also wired your brain to touching your damn self. And as a result, you probably can't get an erection for a real woman. You can't even get pleasure for a real woman. So these guys will sit there and they still want a girlfriend, but for status only. Not because they enjoy fucking her. No. No, because they would rather watch porn. Rather watch porn. You tell me how long she's going to stay with you when you're more concerned with fucking your hand than fucking her. Dumb idea. According to most addicts, the physical symptoms of pornography and masturbation you can get rid of in probably 3 to 6 months, in which case you'll be able to have good erections and enjoy sex. However, most addicts will say it takes a year before you no longer desire it. So most likely it'll be a year before you stop thinking about it and stop wanting it. And so you're really not going to fully be able to enjoy sex, even if you have the physical capability, until being off of porn and masturbation for a year. Now, there's another concept as well, and that's it affects every single category of your life, and here's why. Delaying gratification is the key to success. When they did a study on children and they had them sit down and they had a marshmallow in front of them and they said, we'll be back in 5 minutes. If you can keep from eating the marshmallow, we'll give you a second one. The kids that were able to delay that gratification, they followed all of these kids throughout their lives and found that the ones delaying the gratification they were more successful in relationships, business, fun, everything, money, everything. Because you have to delay what you want today for something better tomorrow. That's just how it works. It works that way in life. It works that way in jobs. Usually the job that pays a lot today doesn't pay as much 10 years from now. Same in relationships. Well, most men have, when I say most, I say all, have, from the time they were young until they're an adult, they have never actually gone without sexual gratification whenever the desire arose. They have never actually been without that sexual gratification. They'll even use words like I need, my needs. It's not a need, it's a desire. But it feels like a need because you've never been without. Not for 1 minute, because the very second that a boy gets horny, he runs to the bathroom and masturbates. There has been no withholding of self-gratification. None. And so is it really a surprise that these kids have ADD? They can't focus. They make rash impulse decisions. And now, getting off porn and masturbation is the first step. I would take it a step further and say that, in my opinion, because of the fact that your inability to delay that gratification is going to allow a woman to essentially have power over you. And when a woman has sexual power over you, you will not be able to, she won't be able to respect you if she holds an upper hand on you. And so in a relationship, you have to either have sexual mastery, or you have to have other people that you can have sex with unapologetically, meaning you're not afraid and scared of what she's going to say if you do, because if you are, she has power over you to say, I'm going to be afraid of you finding me out that I was with another woman. But if you're not willing to get with other women and not hide it, and you're not okay with that, then your only other option is having sexual mastery. Because if she can control you with sex, and this is what happens in relationships, it gets so fucking stupid as, oh, you didn't do the dishes? Well, I'm not fucking you tonight. I mean, it's literally like training the man like a fucking dog. And she can't respect a man that she has power over like that. Now you could say, oh, I'll just jerk off. It's not how it works. That just increases your desire to get off. It doesn't decrease it. And the guy who's masturbating, here's the other thing. He's in a position where he's scared to death that his wife is going to find him out. And she loves being in that position. She probably has already caught you. She won't say it because she wants to keep you afraid. Because you being afraid of being found out, whether it's cheating or masturbating, puts her in a position of power. You're afraid of her. You're scurrying through the house, hoping not to get caught. You cower down and lower your head around her because maybe she knows, oh, I don't want her to catch me. See, and this is 99.9% of every married guy that I have ever spoken to has a pornography addiction, and because they're using it, it's an addiction. No animal masturbates, only humans. Now people said, oh, hold on, no, they have dogs and monkeys, all domesticated, all in cages. No wild animal does it. Now that's another one. If a fucking monkey or a dog can have more fucking sexual control than you, how can you call yourself such a smart human and so superior to other animals when you lack more self-control and discipline than an animal with a brain a tenth of yours? What is your excuse? You choose to be to not even attempt to have any self-control. You're using masturbation as a way to completely medicate yourself. And I'm nervous. Oh, I have a life problem here. Let me just hit myself with an orgasm. Then I don't have to put any work in. An animal in the wild has more damn sense than that. So, anyway, if your woman, if you do not have this sexual mastery, she will be able to control you unless you cheat on her and cheat on her and be okay with it and not care if she's finds out. But that's highly unlikely. Same thing with the pornography. The men are not almost every single married guy is scared to death their wife's going to find them out, and they're hiding it, and they got this secret addiction. And you cannot be a man of your house in that position. So, what do? Well, I believe you actually have to take it even further than getting off the porn and masturbation. It should be a rite of passage. Like in Africa, the boys have to, rub stinging nettles on the testicles, and the Maasai have to kill a lion with a spear before being able to get married. Well, American men who are sitting there masturbating and watching porn and all of this, I believe the rite of passage is that a boy does not have the ability to have power and control sexually in his relationship, to which the woman cannot boss him around with it until he has attained sexual mastery. And true sexual mastery would be getting rid of the need for orgasm altogether. Now, having sex doesn't incur the same performance hits. You don't see the other person as an object as much as you would with masturbation. However, it does still keep you needing that orgasm. And so if it takes a year to get off of that need, I would say that's what a man must do prior to committing in a long-term relationship. And until he does that, he'll never be in a position where he can actually have the position that he wants in the relationship. And if you look at anyone who thinks doesn't understand what the difference between a need and a want is, unless someone's an alcoholic, most guys can go out on the weekend, drink as much as they want, and have no desire or care whether they drink throughout the week. And they could probably, if I was to pay them $100,000 to not drink for a year, they could easily do it. But if I paid the average guy and I said, I'll give you $10 million to not masturbate and not have sex either for an entire year, almost none. 99.99% of the population could not do it. It's not that they don't want the money. It's that it's a compulsion. It's a need for them. And so what it comes down to is that if something is a need, you cannot truly enjoy yourself with it. It controls you. So it has to become a want, not a need. And that's what is required. And that is a skill that no man should really ever even consider being in a long-term relationship until he has mastered his sexuality.